In my last video, I introduced this mystery police officer walking away from the scene of the JFK assassination at a time when most police officers are either investigating or on their way to the scene. I find that to be very suspicious action for a police officer to be taking, and I suspect that this officer is involved with the shooting of Dead Tippit in Dealey Plaza, as I think it happened. I think Dead Tippit was shot behind the Black Dogman wall, which you can see in the background here. Now, since that video, I've noticed something strange about this guy's hat. And here I've pasted in a photograph of C.T. Walker's hat. Both are traffic division hats, you can tell because they're white, and both of them have this orange stripe around the bottom area of the hat. And but the thing is, our mystery officer doesn't have that wider, I think it's white, band in the front that seems to be held on there by a button between the ear and the eye on both sides of the hat. So that's a difference that I find interesting, because looking through the photographs, all the ones I have on my computer from the day of the assassination, all of the white hats where I can see the hat well enough in the photography shows that all of them have that wide band on the front, every single one of them. So I'm curious as to why our mystery officer doesn't have that on his hat. Perhaps it means he's not really a police officer. I don't know. And another difference in the hats you can see here is the visor. Our mystery officer has a black visor, whereas C.T. Walker has a white visor. And almost all of the hats have white visors in the traffic division. The exceptions that I've found in the photography are on inspectors and sergeants. Inspector Sawyer in the upper left here has the black visor, and Inspector Putnam on the right at Parkland Hospital has a black visor. And there's these two other pictures, other than Inspector Sawyer in the top left. Both of them are inspectors. One's Inspector Sawyer, and he's there with a sergeant who also has a black visor. And Inspector Putnam at Parkland Hospital is talking to a sergeant, and he has a black visor. So I don't have a complete coverage of all of the Dallas Police Department, but what it looks like is, in the traffic division, the patrolmen have white visors, and the higher-ranking officers have black visors. And even Chief Curry, when he's in uniform, he has the black visor, and he also has that wider band on the front. I don't have color photographs of everything, so it could be that Chief Curry's band is either a different color or a different material than the others, and I wouldn't know. And as I understand it, Chief Curry and the assistant chief and the inspectors are not in a division at all. That is, they're not in the traffic division. I don't know what you'd call them. Maybe they're in a management category. And it may be that it's not the rank per se, but maybe it's the category that the upper management is in might have the black visors, and maybe sergeants work for them directly, and maybe these sergeants with the black visors are not in the traffic division either. In fact, I think that seems likely. So, comparing our mystery officer's cap to the others, it seems that he is probably a sergeant or higher in rank. However, he doesn't have the band on it, which every other hat has, so maybe this is some kind of stock hat, and he's not really a police officer, though he does have that, I think it's a badge on the hat, or maybe that's an insignia. That might just be an insignia. He might have a he might have a hat that's not, it might be something that they work with, that that they adjust for, the generic hat for commanding, or not commanding, but higher ranks that just hasn't been deployed officially, and maybe he's not really a police officer. I don't know, but I think it's interesting. And in my last video, I wasn't sure whether or not the officer in both scenes here in the Bell film, whether or not they were the same officer. I now think they are, because in the first scene where he's far away walking with the woman, you can see also that this one has the black visor. The black visor is relatively uncommon, so I think it's a reasonable conclusion that they're both the same one, since they're both wearing that relatively uncommon visor, and they're both in this part of the Bell film.